Welcome back, OPL fans, to day 2 of week 10, the second last day of the OPL for split number 1 2016. Hello everyone, I am Jake Spawn Tiberian. Joining me on the desk is Julian Pastry Time Car, as well as Indiana Frosco Black. How you guys doing today?
I'm good. I didn't notice we swapped places, but there you go.
You guys always do this to me. So generally
Not on purpose.
Generally the way
I
it
do it on
works is
purpose.
we have like OPL person on the end, no, like new person in the
Guest.
middle. Guest, right? But Frosco doesn't like sitting in the middle generally because she says she has to do these ones with her head, which she like, you know, where do I look?
And then today you're just like, all right.
And then today she just jumps on. And I'm like, well, I've already written the script. That's why it's coming out. It's done. But, yep. Good. Going well. Looking forward to the last week of OPL.
Oh, yeah. Apart from that, everything's actually awesome. Week 10. It's sad to see the OPL come to a close. Excited for playoffs next week. It's just awesome. Good stuff so far.
Yeah, well, we do have some standings to show you guys to see exactly how the split has gone thus far. Legacy is atop the ladder, 8-1, while Sin Gaming is second, 6-3. The Chiefs, your OPL legends, are 6-3, also tied with Sin Gaming, but not having the head-to-head. Direwolves, 5-4, and Vanguard, 4-5. They're the last two teams that can make the playoff run, whilst Hellions are safe from both playoffs and relegations, 3-6. Trident are 3-7, and will be the 7th place seed in this year's first split of the OPL, whilst Infernum will be last place in 8th after a loss to Trident last night. However, guys, let's just take a look at the week's results as we have them right now. Last night it was 2-0 for Trident over Infernum, whilst Legacy will be playing in our first matchup tonight against an Avant, a must-win game for Avant, before Hellions will take on Direwolves in our second match of the doubleheader. Tomorrow night, it will be the Chiefs taking on Sin in our OPL Legend match. That is a huge rematch starting at 7 o'clock Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. And straight away after the games, we will have the first ever installment of the OPL show where we wrap the season, have lots of fun, and maybe dance with some hand puppets. I don't know. Anything could happen right now. However, guys, let's just get into tonight's matchups. It is going to be Legacy versus Avant. On the blue side, at least for game number 1, it is going to be Legacy. Tally in the top lane, a Carbon, their captain and jungler, Choo Choo's in the mid lane. It's your boy King in AD carry, and Regret their support. This is a team that is just looking so good. One hiccup. That's all they've had so far in this split.
Does he get to be your boy anymore? They finally lost the game. I feel like he's dropped the title for now. Maybe he'll get it back later.
Wow.
I know you're a big fan of it, but I don't know. It's up for consideration. I feel like he's still holding on to it, but your boy King could be under threat.
I feel like Kelvin and I have an understanding of what your boy means on this broadcast. So, you know, as the host, I'm just going to keep it. But across the other side of the rift, it is going to be Avant-Garde. Reindeer in the top lane, Shelby their jungler, Triple in the mid lane, Stark their AD carry, and Destiny their support. A revamped Avant-Garde lineup. And I think this is where we want to start. Do or die team, very new players. This is just like a late game push if I've ever seen one, but is it actually going to work?
This is actually like last minute push.
Yeah.
So the issue right now is that you had 2 new carries coming in, Stark and Triple, and they've had great performance. We don't really know where their full potential is, but it's almost too little too late, and this is literally do or die last chance. Even though the Hellions match doesn't matter in terms of the Hellions making it into playoffs, Avant have to win here, and the Hellions have to win their game if they want to stand a chance.
Yeah, it feels like I'm going to be cheering for Hellions, but they do certainly have a match to worry about before they get to it. For me, it's just such a great story for Avant. They've been super up and down all split long. I have been impressed with the games that they've won, even if their overall record maybe isn't as strong as they would like. But of all the things to have happen to maybe push you into playoffs, yes, they need some luck on their side as well. But Legacy is a fitting final boss, and that's effectively what they have to do tonight. Beat the final boss Legacy, at least at the regular split, and cross their fingers and hope playoffs are around the corner.
All right, well, Legacy has been beaten this season. It has only been once. It was the Chiefs who were able to do it. But is there a recipe there that you can follow? Was that just, like, how did they go about taking that victory, and what do Avant need to replicate?
We've been saying it pretty much all split, that Legacy know how to play the enemy opponent, but they don't know how to play the map. And it's not that they don't know how, because I'm sure they can. They're a high-caliber team, but they haven't shown it. They don't play the map. And so the blueprint there, or the recipe for success, is just playing what we call ideal League of Legends, which is rotation-based, it's map-based, it's structure-focused, as opposed to pick and 5v5 focused.
But isn't that a hard, like, task to send like a team that's been pretty much together for 2.5 weeks now?
That you would say that, but I actually think that teams like Sin, Avant, and there's one other bottom tier team that I'm spacing on right
Trident?
now. I don't think it's Trident. It might be
Infernum?
some of the bottom tier teams have actually shown pretty strong macro play or map play decisions in terms of playing ideal League of Legends. Because again, if you look at Avant lineup, if you look at Sin's lineup, pound for pound, they're weaker players towards the elite standings of the teams. So it makes sense that the only way that they would secure victory would be through macro play.
Exactly. You're not going to outgun them, so you have to outsmart them, right? And I think Avant have actually shown quite a lot of strength in that area. Destiny moving back into support feels like an overall win for the team. Yes, he's a great player. He's shown that in multiple roles this particular OPL split. But I think his shot calling and leadership's come in. Shelby's playing awesome League of Legends, and he's certainly a player that can set tempo and help shot call and perform under clutch moments. Yes, the young players could be a bit tricky, but I think Avant have the tools necessary to lead them to victory here. It's just very difficult.
Yeah, it is going to be very difficult. I want to get your guys' thoughts on how difficult it is. What are your predictions for this game? Do you think that Legacy will bounce back after what was a disappointing week versus the Chiefs, or do you think that Avant can take this game?
I think Avant have been very good at toppling giants, at least for a game, so I actually expect them to win at least one. I do not expect them to win 2, however. I think Legacy are going to take the series 2-1.
See, I'm of the opinion that Avant are about to be the punching bags after the loss that Legacy faced against the Chiefs. I think it's going to be a 2-0, and I think it's going to be a 2-0 in a very dramatic fashion.
Yeah, I actually think that Legacy, even though Avant are the team pushing for the playoff spot, have so much to prove, and I think they are a class outfit. I think they will take this 2-0. However, guys, we get to find out. That's a good part of this show. Here is Atlas and Rusty to take us into Game 1.
Thank you very much, Spawn. What an exciting matchup it is, too, of course. Avant's last chance at trying to make that playoff run. Of course, there are quite a few things that do have to happen in order to facilitate that, but I'm excited to go on the journey tonight because once tonight's over, we will know for sure as to who our 4th place team is going to be, Rusty.
Absolutely right. Of course, Avant are essentially being Mission Impossible right now. They're all Tom Cruise trying to thread the needle on the most impossible feat, and that is firstly beating the #1 team, and then hoping the stars align in the second best of 3. But this is where it all starts. Their fate is still in their own hands for this aspect of it.
That being said, I believe, because of course you can go over to oce.lolesports.com and have a look at our predictions, and I predicted that Avant were going to be able to take this series. So I might be an idiot, but I also may just be a dreamer, and we'll see exactly what is going to happen as we are in a champion select, and already some bans have gone down. Fiora and Trundle have been taken away by Legacy, and Gangplank is going to be the one removed by Avant here. So we'll see how this one is going to
Also,
work.
the standard rain tier ban, which is something that we've
Yeah,
never
I
seen
wanna
from
see
him.
it.
And I don't think we'll ever see from him because all that anyone knows about him and all we even saw before the first game they played in the OPL was Fiora one-trick. That's all we've ever heard. To this day, still not to see.
By the looks of things in the OPL, he's a Poppy one-trick closer to because he's played that champion about 60% of the time. We'll see if he does manage to get his hands back on the champion as Lulu was the final ban. Oh, Triple not going to be playing his Zed this time around. It is going to be removed. Of course, he's played that about 60% of the time as well. Of course, Triple almost managing to catch up to Rect's kill record. He's only 10 behind him whilst being about 30 behind in the deaths. This guy is been basically a straight upgrade there in the mid lane.
Absolutely. Triple is going above and beyond. And honestly, he was hyped by his team. Everyone said that they couldn't wait for Triple to come in. He was there since the start of the split, and he didn't disappoint when he came into this roster. That's the one big thing we could take away from that. The Zed ban from Triple is sort of a surprise given that Choo-Choo's plays it to a very high level, but that's a sign of respect.
Yeah, not wanting to actually opt into any potential counter matchups. Of course, Avant, with that final pick, will be able to take the last choice into the mid lane if they would like to. So Choo-Choo's just keeping himself safe as Tally is going to cycle through some champions. Most likely not going to be picking up Shyvana here, but Poppy makes a heck of a lot more sense, and they are going to lock it in, taking it away from Reintier, but also giving it to Tally, who's been playing incredibly well this split.
Yeah, the Gangplank and Lulu banned away from him. That was really hard for no reason just then.
Yep.
But Poppy is the natural choice away from Reintier, given that Fiora and Trundle aren't going to be there. So very smart drafting in the way of Legacy in particular, being first pick, actually picking on the top laner, kind of raises some questions now. Is what can he play? Is he going to go back towards the Nautilus, something that's easy to play, something that's safe and tanky? Poppy has a lot of impact.
Yeah, it's true, and he can't go towards that Trundle as well if he wants to go for another sort of really tanky split push type option. Of course, it might just have to be that ZZ Rock portal if he decides to pick up that Nautilus. And Nautilus would make a fair bit of sense here at the same time, just because the Trundle has been taken off the board, but Lissandra being looked at by Avant, they do lock it in, so Reintier going to take away the Lissandra, could be going into the mid lane for Triple, could of course also be picked up by Reintier, but most importantly, the pick away from Choo-Choo's. Choo-Choo's does ridiculous things on the champion.
Yeah, spot on. And to an extent, Poppy can be considered a flex, so there was options there for Legacy, irrespective. It was a denial pick, but just as much as this was.
I'm just thinking as well, I mean, Carbon was originally the Poppy jungle player, so of course that was before she got reworked, back when she was basically not played anywhere at all, Carbon was still able to pick that one up in the jungle. So look, could definitely be going there.
It's the kind of thing I didn't want to hype until I see it, you know?
Yeah.
Can happen. Sybil's done it. Didn't
I
work
felt like
out.
we needed to talk about it, Rusty. We needed to talk about it. I know you do.
Yeah, he's got it there, but I mean, Lysandra as well being picked away by
Yeah.
AV from Legacy is pretty big. I think that is Choo Choo's go-to champion. In saying that, Choo's, he's got a very diverse champion pool, and getting one away from him is just the strongest one.
Well, looks like a bot lane could have potentially been picked up. Of course, Choo Choo's can take that Corki into the mid lane. Very, very strong. We've seen it by a lot of our mid lane players here in the OPL. Of course, it was denied away from Wizard twice in a row yesterday. Of course, the man, a fantastic Corki player, made it happen on the LeBlanc, though, as we are going to get the bottom lane locked in straight away by Avant, as the Morgana and Siva are going to be taken there, and some really strong picks by AV. We haven't even spoken about the Nidalee for Chelby. I mean, I don't really want to talk about the 67k damage that he managed to get in that semi-final, because I feel like we've done that one to death.
Yes.
But you guys at home definitely know now that Chelby, pretty good Nidalee player.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say, of course. Didn't even really need to mention it. He almost speaks for himself at this stage with how good he is on that champion. So taking it away from Carbon, something that he has played, and putting it in the hands of Chelby, which is something he is quite proficient on, was a great decision from Avant. Getting it in that first rotation. But the real, I guess, thing to me is Avantgarde's bottom lane right now. And how do you kill what has so many shields that you can't?
Yeah, I don't know. Seems like the Starks are pretty resilient there on the bottom side of the map. As Legacy, considering what they want to pick up, of course, Elise is one that really stands out to me. But Graves is there as well. We've seen a bit of a resurgence of the guy. Is going to mean that we are going to have an 80 carry Corki on the bottom side of the map. The Graves into the jungle, and Azir picked up for Choo Choo. Second time he's played it. See if he can pick up 2-0 on the champion. This was a fantastic performance the first time around.
Yeah, and no
Bard, which is upsetting.
I was going to say, yeah, and no Gragas as well.
Yeah.
As it slipped through the draft once again this week in the OPL. And that is a very big question mark that we have to bring up. Gragas is still good. I don't think anything happened to Gragas in the latest batch, so still a good champion. Graves, on the other hand, had dropped off in popularity by quite a substantial amount. In saying that, the damage hasn't changed on Graves.
Yeah, that's true.
It was just 0.25 on the Q, maybe.
Yeah.
Nothing
And there's
drastic.
a few tweaks around his usability as well, like as far as resetting animations, things like that. So maybe not as fluid when he roams around the jungle, smacking things down. But no surprises, the Nautilus is going to be the answer there on the top side of the map. We've seen Poppies go to town on the champions, especially in the laning phase. If we look back to Jack Attack versus Pac-Man yesterday, it was Jack pretty much reigning supreme the entire laning phase until Pac-Man became unkillable in the late game, and they just steamrolled them in one team fight. So we'll see exactly whether Reintier is going to be able to do a repeat performance of something similar, whether it is going to be Tally taking it to him here on this Poppy, because it could be difficult for the Nautilus early on.
It definitely could be considered hard. I think there's a lot of pressure, and particularly for the junglers on both of these teams. I wouldn't be surprised if Triple goes for the teleport, and that's where a slight advantage can be gained by AV in the way of rotating around the map, getting the ganks off and affecting elsewhere and starting a snowball. But yeah, Nautilus does okay early. Poppy generally does a bit better.
Yeah, we'll see exactly how it is going to work out, because one thing looking into the jungle here especially is we've got Nidalee versus Graves. I can't really expect too many ganks early on. I feel like there's just going to be no jungle for anyone.
Yeah, and I guess the big question is, do they want to lane swap when both of these junglers can gank? But that's not what they're basically designed to do. One of them, very good at pushing down turrets, has a heal to attack speed buff someone. This is Chelby on Nidalee, of course. The other is Graves. Pretty sure he can take down turrets quite handily. 3 bullets at once able to connect. And they're both counter junglers. They're not gankers.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a very sort of similar identity for both of these team comps as we move into this game. But ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear from you. Do you think that Legacy, the supreme leaders of the OPL at the moment, are going to win? Use that hashtag LGC win. Or if you believe, like I do in my predictions, that AV can take this one, use that hashtag AV win to show your support for the team and see whether they can actually keep their playoff dreams alive. It's going to be a very tough ask for these guys. Of course, use that hashtag ArmOPL if you want to talk to us. You know, tweet at RustyLol if you want to talk about anything, or at SpawnLol, depending on which one. I mean, I think they both answer to both.
Yeah.
That's sort of how it works. Of course, twins, both on and off the Rift, as Legacy and AV are going to be heading out to see exactly what is going to happen in the early stages.
Yeah, and the first question that I was going to bring up, and one of the things that kind of brought Graves back into popularity, especially in the top lane, was Warlord's Bloodlust, and the fact that you get ridiculous amounts of life steal, and you can sustain yourself with one item. And forego lifesteal as an item just by having offensive stats. And it's not a surprise that Siver's gone for it. But Strength of the Ages is honestly just too good right now, and Carbon can't afford to go for that. So the question is, what can Carbon get done? Is he just going to effectively jungle or, you know, just like brute force his way into the face of Chelby and ward everything? Fair enough.
Well, that is definitely what he just did. Chelby heading back to base, missed that last crucial spear, unfortunately. And both of the junglers are going to head home, but some deep vision available now for Legacy, and they'll see exactly who's going to be starting towards the top side of the map. And keeping eyes on Nidalee is definitely important. We've seen her invade early on before. See whether it is going to happen again. There's Tally moving towards the bottom side of the map, so it looks like we are going to have a lane swap issued here for Legacy.
Yeah, the lane swap, not a surprise again. We saw both of the junglers, and it's an assumed thing. Legacy also do this every single time, so they're one of the more unique, aggressive invades, and there's always to try and catch them out on Krugs.
Well, looks like it might happen here as Chelby immediately flashes, doesn't want to give anything up here. Is Regret going to block some of the damage, and yeah, King is going to be able to lock down that big Krug for himself. An extra 81 gold, and more importantly, the experience. This is a huge deal, putting Legacy ahead so early.
Yeah, that is actually very massive, and most importantly, keeps Chelby and Reindeer behind. Flying Regret, probably going to chase them around. Of course, doesn't want to die, but also wants to take them to the other side of the jungle. If he can even take this, then he's doing really well.
Well, he's taking a lot of damage here. As there's the Pulverize. Reindeer doesn't have the anchor yet.
But look at Chelby's health bar. That's both potions used. And in comparison to Carbon and Tally, who effectively have taken their jungle,
yeah,
and got it all in, like, without losing health, can now do a full clear, all work top lane as they would please.
And then we can see here's the poll. Will AV steal Darwell spot in the playoffs? 33% say yes, 67% say no. I didn't vote, so let's increase that one by a few, depending on how many people actually were involved in that particular one.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Whatever the stat may be. Give it a bit of a percent.
Yep. Increase it. I'm going to go with 34%.
Of course, the stars do need to align for AV, and this is where it all begins for them. Having to take on Legacy of all teams in their last match of the regular season.
So their fate in their hands at the moment will be out of their hands when Hellions face off against Direwolves after this match.
If they win here.
Exactly. So lane swap ensuing as we do see the fast pushes here towards the top and bottom sides of the map. Legacy with a larger creep wave are going to be heading through here as Regret just healing up the creeps with that Triumphant Roar. AV will probably be able to get this turret down a little bit sooner though.
Yeah, I think it'll be working out relatively even. Of course, both junglers just going to be clearing jungle as is custom for the current lane swap, and we'll see how Reindeer goes actually getting this down and not dying, because it looks like he may die. Yeah.
Yeah, just going to tank up one of the auto attacks, push this wave out, grab that last one onto that turret. You can see his jungler is waiting around in the wings as Tally's going to grab all of the money from that minion wave.
They're going to keep hard pushing from the looks of it, or at least get it to the turret, because look at how long it took Reindeer to get that just from the mistake that AV made, not pushing it down as effectively as Legacy did.
Yeah, well, two members of AV have moved up towards the top side as Choo Choo's, you can see, first look into the mid lane here as Triple's taken a fair bit of damage from the guy. And he locks down the cannon creep. Heck yes. That's what we're talking about. But Triple definitely still relevant in that farm, only behind by about 3, as he does have a wave pushing towards him as well. So,
yeah,
not too bad here from the Lysandra player.
It's the thing about Lysandra, right? Always relevant.
Yeah.
Always got engage, always got crowd control, always got wave clear. Basically can do it all effectively. It's the engaged Lulu. It's the best way to always look at it.
I like that. I've never heard of that one
Instead
before.
of disengage, it's engage.
Oh, Triple. Oh, he's going to take the auto Q, auto combination with that Thunderlord's Vigor there as well. Just, goodness, able to get so much damage.
Yeah,
down
that's a
his
recall.
Choo-choos.
That's the problem with Azir. Once you hit level 3, if you haven't already lost lane, then you really do run a risk playing against him, because his trading patterns in the spell usage is super linear. It's always the one combo. You press the W, put a Sand Soldier up next to him, auto attack them, press Q, and then do the same thing. Proc Thunderlords, then run away.
Yeah.
Without fail, and will always be effective if you have an advantage.
Well, you can see Triple. Bit unfortunate with the turret aggro there, but is able to pick up a bunch of that farm, only behind by about 7. We'll check back in that mid lane in some time, see exactly how it goes, because at the moment it looks like it's a bit of an island.
You know, I feel like some people don't realize that there is some kind of theory to the turret's aggro.
Yeah?
I don't know the exact theory behind it, but I always have, like, you know, like that mental.
Yeah. Subconsciously, you
Yeah,
just
you
feel like
know,
you know.
which minion the turret's going to hit without fail, and I don't know what it is.
I don't. I never have any idea. I always get trolled by it. Frustrates me.
It hits the outside ones first, and I think it goes off.
Okay.
It always hits the outside ones first. On bot lane, like this one right now, I think the preference is the bottom right minion. So I don't know why.
We know, of course, you know, cannon creeps first, then melee, then caster, and we're talking about what happens after that. So, look, I'd be interested to know. Hopefully we can find out. Tweet at SpawnLol if you do know. Is Carvin going to be taking the enemy Gromp? Yeah, no, I've nailed it now. There's Reindeer once again.
Legacy, though.
Solo gold from this turret.
Yeah, so they're going to continue to hard push and at least make it reset under the turret. Stark, from the looks of it, the only one who's going to be in attendance. So you would imagine this turret in the bottom lane for Legacy is actually going to fall down.
Yeah, inner turret is going to go. So we do have a Sivert trying to make sure that they don't at least take the inhibitor turret. Teleport actually comes in.
Triple's rotating.
Yeah, AV actually able to stop this one from going down.
Yeah, but that was a teleport used, or at least cancelled now. But that's a cooldown where Tally can actually freely use his own teleport now.
Yeah.
Get to that top lane. Perhaps take the minions, defend the turret as best he can. And honestly, it's a period of time where, looking at the CS discrepancies, it could favor Legacy once more because of how many minions are going to be there. But he doesn't want to teleport.
Oh, triple. Dangerous walking through there as there are a lot of pink wards down already. You can see Shelby moving up. We'll be able to grab a couple of those.
Is mid as well.
Yeah, we'll see whether he has enough time here as Reindeer. Not quite level 6 is Choose. Just going to glide his way out on the sand. Everything's going to be fine.
Just Shurima things.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he got it. Nice. Choose has got a lot of attack speed with that stinger, to say the least. And if this laning phase is anything at the moment, it's oppressive. And Triple's not having a great time. Give it the bot. Oh, there we go.
Oh, regret.
That's what I'm talking about.
They can bank this game.
The amount of jungle that Shelby has had stolen by the bottom lane of Legacy is obnoxious.
But as we have a look at the gold margins, it's actually 300 in the lead for AV, despite how well Choo Choo's doing in the mid lane. But you can see that 80 carry CS, Stark well and truly ahead, able to eat up those creeps with the boomerangs and the ricochets.
Yeah, it's just kind of where Legacy are looking to give their gold values to. And it felt like it was more so the top laner. And that's weird because the discrepancy between the two was 6. Yeah. And it's more so the rotations or the decisions that they made working around the map where Stark was able to sort of hold a freeze in that respect. And I mean, he always gets the last hits on the minions. Perhaps Legacy just looked much more to sharing all the CS when they were pushing as well. Could come back to bite them, though.
Well, we'll see whether Stark can make use of it. A little bit of extra money. Does already have that BF sort of built. The cull at the same time, so definitely making sure that he's going to have as much money as possible come that mid game. Of course, Sivert does like to have that 3 items in order to get that massive damage down with the crits on the ricochet, so I do like it. Make sure that you can accelerate your build as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's definitely about that acceleration, and in lane swaps, a lot of AD carries go for the cull.
Not to mention experience. That's a level 7 Sivert.
Yeah, he's been getting a fair chunk of that solo experience. King, ooh. They're actually trying to freeze it, not let it crash under the turret so they can get all the last hits. Easier said than done against the Sivir Morgana.
Oh, nice triple hit on that Riptide there from Reindeer. He's going to take this parade of minions towards his turret. Choo Choo's it's slowed down by a Q out of triple. We'll see whether he can continue this dominance here in the mid lane. Shelby turns up, does have a possible heal there, but triple was doing absolutely fine there in that mid lane. Only behind by about 10. So the game's slowing down a whole lot.
Yeah.
But AV definitely clawing it back after what was a difficult early game given their start and getting tricked with that lane swap scenario.
Yeah, they reacted to the lane swap. They got trolled a little bit, I will say, by Legacy's bottom lane, but this is the scary thing, if you were AV, is how is Reindeer going to deal with this onslaught?
Not entirely well, as the ultimate does come out actually from Tally. He's using that Grasp of the Undying to great effect. Buckler goes down. The ultimate has to be used. Reindeer doesn't want to use the flash and doesn't have to, as he does make it back underneath his turret. But that was needless. I mean, that pink ward was dead. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, he was very lucky to get out and not have to burn the flash at all. Super low health bar. but did have to use his own ultimate as AV. There was no reason to respond with the Dragon or for Legacy to not be near it or respond themselves, but they do pick this one up for free with good vision control and movement around the map.
Yeah, really nicely done.
Carbon was top.
Yeah, gold lead actually back in favor of Legacy here as well, so making use of it is Tally with an increased gold advantage. Closing that gap a little bit as well is King. So Choo Choo's being ahead at the same time means that they're definitely doing great things. Chelby, however, has picked up the Runic Echoes. 50 CS as well, so he's about 10 ahead, and jungle CS means a little bit more than regular lane CS.
Definitely does. Worth a bit of extra gold, of course. My concern at this stage, if you're an AV fan, is that they've slowed the game down almost too much. When they have a Sivir overextended in the bottom lane, and then Nautilus is losing in the top lane. It gives a lot of free time to Carbon to work around the map as he would please. The positive, though, and the plus side to that, is the vision controllers.
Oh, nice flash as the Emperor's Divide comes out from Choo Choo's. However, nothing to come from it apart from the Summoner spell.
Yeah, easy stuff from Choose. The flash from Shelby, though. It definitely hurts for an Italy not having that Summoner available to him, as these two definitely going to have it out.
Yeah, takedown not quite in range yet. There's the pounce. Carbon in trouble here as Reindeer's going to move in. Tally teleports to save his jungler, and Reindeer's just gone full man mode. Shelby still hunting around for the jungler. No turrets here, remember, as well, as he might need to collapse. First blood goes down, though, as Triple just solos out Choo Choo somehow. No ultimate for the Azir, and the burst damage was too much. Now they're going to collapse on the top lane. Tally trying to heroically charge his way around. Shelby very, very low, but Triple grabs a double kill. Who is this, Wizard?
AV, they pull that out of thin air. Choose was pretty low, I will say already. That was the ultimate, though, from Triple that got him to that health bar. And with Vision of Regret in the top lane of all things, AV's bottom lane felt comfortable. So this is a battle on 3 fronts that AV won on all 3 fronts.
Yeah.
Shelby outtrades Carbon. Mid lane gets the solo pick. And then bot lane is just in absolute control. This is the dangerous aspect of AV's map movement right now and their strategy. But it's flourishing.
Yeah. Working really, really well. That being said, not too much is reflected in the gold. Only about 500 the difference. So Legacy, by all means, not in too much trouble at this stage of the game. And still 20 CS in the lead is Choo Choo's despite falling that one time.
Yeah, they also hadn't recalled in a fair amount of time.
That is very
so
good
in
point.
terms of items, I think Choose potentially went from a Stinger to a Nash's Tooth and a Null Magic Mantle, as an example. So,
And Triple went from, I think, double Doran's to Abyssal Scepter, Fiendish Codex double Doran's boots.
I think the other big thing is what Sivir and Corki have just, or are going to and have just bought as a Trinity Force. You would imagine the package or something to that extent is available as well. So Power Spike's available for both teams. The map could explode right now, as it's only 500.
Yeah, very true. The cull actually completed here as well for Stark, so an extra 350 gold for him, as that Essence Reaver has been completed at the same time. So Stark definitely scaling.
Yeah, super scary, actually, that Sivir.
Yeah. We'll see what he decides to go for, of course. We know that you're a bit of a fan of the old Phantom Dancer.
I think I like both in different amounts. Phantom Dancer's worth it to an extent. And with the team that he has right now, I wouldn't be against it getting a static shiv, especially when you're ahead. Crit all the people is hello, Destiny.
Yeah, King making his way in. Massive damage, but a nice binding is going to get the support play to safety as well as the on the hunt.
King's positioning with the package just there was not exactly appropriate.
Okay.
He didn't push Morgana towards the Alistar or towards the river where Carbon could have been set up if he tried to run as well. Instead lets him walk away in the other direction. It's much more of a you shall not pass zone.
Yeah.
The package, like he puts down the staff. There's Carbon.
End of the line there for Shelby though. Fair bit of damage.
But yeah, King just wasn't where he wanted it to be. Unfortunate, but Destiny gets out without a summoner burn.
Reindeer once again coming in for a potential roam. Does have that Sunfire Cape. Pretty tanky right now. Falling behind in farm as he has been very mobile around this map. See the vision game moving into a defensive formation at the moment for Legacy as you have a look towards the bottom side where it's in their jungle with all the pinks.
There was a lot of wards deep inside Legacy's blue side also. So they do start clearing that out. As I wouldn't be surprised if it continues along this trend of placid scaling styles. Of course, an Azir of all champions. I hear he likes scaling.
Yeah.
And Corki definitely wants a little bit more than just the Trinity Force. Sork shoes, perhaps.
You know, I feel like they're looking at King to be their sort of mid-game bridge as well. That Trinity Force now already in his hands. He's very strong. We saw that package come out and do a lot of damage onto Destiny. We'll see whether this Corki is going to be able to hold on here for Legacy as they move towards that later game. But I have a look at both of these sides, and I mean, the lineups feel similar to me, Rusty.
They definitely are. I think AV and Legacy, firstly, both have stacked individual players on their roster. And also Triple playing the hard carry mid lane, even sharing champions right now. Reintier and Tally, perhaps the only discrepancy between the two is Reintier in his rookie split has definitely still shown up.
Oh, yeah.
Being a Fiora player could have similarities. As this is the real issue, in my opinion.
Yeah, Choose just when he gets his hands on Triple, or his soldiers on Triple, should I say.
Well, I mean, we've seen how much Reintier has been hanging out, I suppose, near the mid lane. Even if it's just to use Choo-Choo's to get his E to safety, that's a long cooldown that Triple feels more comfortable and more safe in.
Yeah. Well, Dragon number 2 is going to go down here for AV. Shelby a little bit far out, and that mid lane is under siege. But they are able to take down the Dragon, now moving towards that mid lane to try and help things out. But yeah, in goes the on the hunt as AV looking to try and lock someone down. Choo-Choo's going to get hooked by the anchor. Reintier has to use his flash in order to close the distance, though, and he's going to pay for it with his life. Fantastic play by Regret, and Tally's going to move in. Nice lockdown there by Triple. Does still have the ultimate, and uses it on himself to try and stay safe. He is going to do so there as they do successfully disengage, but it's a 1-0.
AV barely living through that trade, but this is all Regret saying that he is going to engage. Catches Reintier, who flashed out of position over the Azir wall, and here's the second teleport to defend the turret.
Yeah, Triple is going to make his way in. They do lock down all of these creeps. It's Tally! He's in a whole host of trouble. Shelby locks it down with a well-placed spear. And Destiny now very low, but still moving aggressively forward. He's got to be careful. Choose still does a fair bit of damage.
Yeah, 2 TPs on this AV side. They turn it back around. They defend their turret. The question is, can Choose do the same and actually keep it alive with 3 people threatening? Thankfully, the answer is always going to be yes, because they've fought twice now. Yeah. And no one has anything left available to them.
Well, King just going to move back down towards the bottom side of the map, clear out that huge wave of minions that was crashing down. See, Eye of the Watcher actually completed here by Destiny. So looking to free up an item slot there. Grab that extra ward. Something, something, sweeper, something, something, says Frostgrin.
I can hear it in my ear now.
I know. I've been taught it so many different times why that having the extra ward there is so important, and I think it's so that you can trade out a sweeper of the enemy and still put that ward back down, because you can have 3 on the map, and, you know, without going back. All that
TLDR,
sort of stuff.
map rotations, extra wards, no recalling.
TLDR, vision good.
Yeah. Vision equal win.
Yeah. Nicely done.
He's done it.
Yeah, that was me with my analysis.
Very claps for Destiny. There we go. He understands League of Legends. It's almost like he's an OPL player.
Yeah, he's pretty good at the old role too. And he's also quite good at AD
4
carry
roles
and mid lane. Yep. Lock it in. I'm going to make a team with 5 Destinies, please.
Means they will control their own destiny.
Ahoy! They all play Twisted Fate at the same time.
That's deep.
Ludicrous. So many Destinies, man. It's just out of control. But Abyssal Scepter is now done for Choo-Choo's. Triple has the Morellonomicon to complement his other purple item that he had sitting in his item slots, as well as the pink ward. My goodness. Fantastically color coordinated is this Lissandra.
That is a very important point, though. Of course, that is 4 pink wards established by AV. They've just
I thought you were going to say color coordination was going to be really important.
Nah, they've got 4 pink wards on their map, right? So they actually have an established base to work from. And the thing with pink wards, it's almost like you draw a line in the sand and say, this is our line. And if you cross it, you run the risk of dying, because we know that you don't have vision past this point, right? But now what they've got is a neutral line established near the river, at least in top side, and a little bit more defensive on the bottom side. If they can push those forward as they make movements around the map, so maybe they want to work mid, push the pinks up, get a flank off, people will die.
Well, you can see Tally towards the bottom side of the map, just clearing out a whole bunch of creeps as Reintier was pushing them out towards him. Of course, you can see 119 to 124, really closing that gap as Triple is going to throw through the claw. Doesn't find too much.
This is also the point in the game where everyone thinks they can burst out of Graves. It's the best way to describe it. He has his Hex Drinker. He's also just very hard to kill.
Shoe's going to get hit by the binding. Not the spear, though, which would have done a heck of a lot of damage. Rod of Ages completed by Chelby at about that 20-minute mark, which isn't bad after finishing a Runic Echoes as a jungler.
By no means bad. I think the bad thing is potentially that this turret is at risk.
Oh, another binding lands onto Choo Choo's as Triple. Oh, Reindeer going super aggressive. Empress Divide comes down. Reindeer not as tanky as he wants to be, and look at those auto attacks. My God, collateral damage doesn't quite find the Nautilus, and he'll have to go home.
I think the saving grace is that he has a Rift Herald buff, so pretty quick recall. Can come back to lane as fast as he possibly can, but AV's health bars, there's only so much a Nid can heal.
Yeah, well, Stark is going to pop the ultimate. Immediately, King falls down as Triple pops the ult. Regret 9 does have the Unbreakable Will, but not a lot of mana. Now Chelby smashed against the wall. Carbon locks down the kill, and he's able to dodge out of the way of a lot of the follow-up as Reindeer now has to run away. Does still have the flash. He's going to use it to escape, and Legacy make it a 1-for-1, but these fights are so close.
Ooh, Choose is still putting in overtime for Legacy right now. King gets completely caught out of position, and that's the engage that AV need. The problem is, it's so hard to kill the rest of the team of Legacy. Look at Choose. He is so well positioned in these fights to just succeed and set his team up.
And you can see Tally even able to get into position to get some auto attacks on this turret. It probably will fall down, but Tally is taking a lot of damage for it. Immediately, Sun turret is put up. ZZ Rot portal goes down. Reindeer trying to do what he can.
Oh, get it. Oh, yeah, nailed it.
Sun turret's a beast.
That does a lot of damage to a Rot portal.
Yeah, I thought we hadn't changed the Rot portal yet.
We haven't.
Apparently we have when it comes to Sun turrets. But it does mean that Triple's 3-0-1. So we'll be able to go back and spend a pretty penny in the shop, and we'll see whether he can change the landscape of these team fights.
Yeah.
He's still behind on CS by about 35. Needlessly large Rod is going to get picked up. Sorcerer's Shoes there as well. He's got a full inventory. See whether he's going to be able to pick up that Zhonya's Hourglass in due time, because that is going to be very important for keeping him a threat for a longer period of time in these team fights.
Absolutely needing it, I will say, so that he can be another frontline member for the team. I think it does come down to a battle of mid laners. They're both quite strong at the moment. One's got a whole lot of farm, and we've seen how much damage Choose is doing. Triple on the other hand. 3-0, putting in, oh, hello.
Yeah, in he goes. Chelby's going to get delivered to the team, but flashes out of the way. Empress Divide not going to do too much. It's Triple ults himself up. Carbon's in so much trouble, and then Nidalee, happy to dive in, gets ulted out immediately, and AV's health bars are getting evaporated. This is it, does so much. AoE is Triple, finds his way in. It's a double kill. Stark as well, just going ludicrous in this fight, and immediately 3 dead from Legacy, and there might be more. Nice flash from Tally, gets out of the way from Triple, but I thought that was done and dusted, but AV respond.
Legacy just fought this avant-garde roster in a choke point when they're playing against the Nautilus, Lissandra, and Sivir. The amount of crits and ricochet, boomerang blade damage, everything that Sivir just put down is enough to hard carry AV through that team fight. And we were looking at mid laners before the fight broke out. Here's the outlier strength that AV have. That is their AD carry. And I mean, the engage was great on a Chelby, but Chelby still has his summoners. Look at the knockups Nautilus just got. Watch the damage that Stark is applying, bouncing through everybody. Reset, re-engage. Look at this.
Oh my God.
It's actually absurd, the amount of damage that Sivir did. Legacy have no right being in the jungle trying to engage on a Nidalee that has summoners.
And this is actually a question we were asking of Stark last week, is put your face in it more. Try and get these auto attacks down on this Sivir, because he just wasn't quite getting there last time. This game, flashing forward, picking up so much damage on so many members of Legacy. Really confident here in his play. And look at Triple, 100% kill participation. This Lissandra's going off.
Yeah, Triple's putting in work right now, and he never ceases to impress, I will say, in all of these games of the OPL so far. AV right now have established themselves an okay lead. That last team fight, to be fair, was Legacy trying to take the initiative and give it to AV, where it backfired massively. So we'll see how Legacy actually adapt and change their play style. Do they actually respect AV now?
You can see pings down onto Chelby, who's just waiting around in this brush above the Baron pit, as Tally wants to get rid of the ZZ portal if he can. See whether he can actually ignore Reindeer. He's just taking the damage, saying, I don't even care. Get on me, as the buckler is available. Destiny's going to make his way down. Soul Shackles comes out. Tally might be in trouble. He uses the ultimate, gets rid of the Nautilus, so will get stunned, and now thinks that he has a shot at taking down the support player of AV. Nice point-blank binding there from Destiny, though. Will save his life. There's a big ultimate now on cooldown, as you can see. AV struggling here in the jungle just a little bit, as there are Legacy members prowling around. This game is really close.
It definitely still feels super close. Of course, that engage that just happened in the bottom lane. They were banking on Reindeer dodging Tally's ultimate because the spell shield was on Destiny, so that he could get the Soul Shackles to connect.
Nice mind use by Tally there. Peace of mind? I don't know. Like, I'm trying to work out what that sentence was going to be. It was going to make a whole lot of sense. I apologize, but really well played by Tally to ult the right player.
Okay.
Is what I meant to say.
Awareness?
Peace of mind? Yeah, awareness is probably the word. Never mind, guys.
Peace of mind.
It seems like most of us here in the OPL aren't very good at England.
Peace of mind.
Yeah,
Fair enough. Like, he was in full zen when the engage came out.
Yeah, it's not. There's another phrase, right? It's not that. It's something else. Let's just move on, shall we? Stark's almost got an Infinity Edge. He's looking strong on Sivir. Discuss. Carbon going aggressive onto Destiny might be a better one.
Yeah, absolutely. Carbon is hyper aggressive at the moment. This is just a power point for Graves in particular, as Tally wards into the wall, not over it. Unlucky, and yeah, Stark, as you mentioned, I think that this is actually a very important game for Stark as a player to identify himself as a carry.
Yeah.
I mean, the Kalista Penta in his first game was great, but even he was aware it wasn't a big deal.
Well,
Destiny's in.
Yeah, the ult goes down here as Carbon flashes out of the way of the Soul Shackles and a lot of the extra damage here from AV. Destiny now split off from the team as Reindeer in the back line. Spears are flying through, but they're not quite close enough to get onto Legacy, and that's a big ultimate cooldown now that AV have to deal with not having on Stark.
Thankfully, Stark having that Essence Reaver has enough cooldown reduction that it's almost half back up already.
That's a very good point. What
Like
is it, 34 seconds?
Yeah, it's not a lot. I think the biggest deal to me, though, was Poppy cancelled the teleport.
Yeah, interesting.
And that's not something that you want to do in the middle of a team fight, especially early cancelling it, because Reindeer could have looked to re-engage from that. In saying that, Tally, no mana now. Kind of just being a pest.
Well, tweet in from LolTies. It would seem that the Chiefs match has tilted Legacy so much they are now the Leaning Tower of Treaser. Benji, why did you make me read that out?
That is something else.
LolTies offers like a wide array of different things. It's actually pretty damn good, honestly. I think
as
I'm
far
just
as
jealous
puns
more than
go,
anything
it's
else.
genius.
Yeah,
But it's the kind of genius that I don't want to admit.
you
know,
exactly.
so, like,
it's a dad joke, right? It's one of those jokes that you have a chuckle in your head, but you tell him he's an idiot.
Yeah.
That's basically how it works. So take that, LolTies. I think that is exactly what was deserved there. Benji loved it, P.S. So our producer definitely thought that you were probably the funniest human being alive. Take that whichever way you want. As Stark is going to head back to base. We'll see whether he does have enough money for that Infinity Edge. It's AV. Stalking Carbon. Gets hit by a Dark Binding. Is Destiny thinking about going in. Isn't going to get hit by the Q from the Azir, though.
And that was blind Carbon. You don't need to place down the sweeping lens. Do not worry. They won't be able to replicate it again blind. In saying that, Legacy, yeah. I mean, they've got Chelby and Destiny working together now, which is the big deal to me. They are actually becoming a war party. The sole purpose is to now skirmish, not just get picks and lane, which is very big. They're trying to open up the map more so, and Dragon is the objective that both of these teams are going to be looking towards. One to get the 5th, one to deny it.
Well, Stark actually farming with the clock right now. He's just about to hit up to 300 CS as that 30-minute ticks over. So really nicely done on this Sivir. Now has those 3 items that we were talking about before. Just in time for this 4th dragon to spawn.
Yeah, King actually falling relatively behind. And to be on time with the clock is...
That needle was threaded.
Absolutely was. Nidalee Spearwig.
Yeah, man.
Rest in peace. I mean, yeah, King falling behind is unfortunate for Legacy, but the thing is, if he works around having the package, his impact in fights will still be just as high. The CS doesn't always matter to that extent. He's got his item spike. He's only 1 off now.
Well, Dragon has actually been started up here, but not going down too far as Reindeer is going to poke his head in. That ward is going to be taken down. Half health now on the Dragon. This is really important here for Legacy as the ultimate has been popped. The Dragon is going to go into the hands of Legacy, and we'll see whether they can win the fight as Chelby going down so low. Choose finds his way into the fight. Triple can't get as much work done, but you can see massive damage out of Starker just before he falls down, and Choo-Choo's is going insane. It's a double kill now. The triple for Choose. The mid laner finally getting what he wants.
And Legacy's mid laner comes well and truly online. The damage that he was doing in that fight was phenomenal. The Rylai's Crystal Scepter, that's the holy trinity of Azir items for crowd control in team fights and damage output. Legacy, they win a skirmish, they get the Dragon, and they go straight to the next big purple worm.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the whole fight scene once more. Choo-Choo's in particular is the one to keep your eye on. The way that he works around the outskirts of the fight is great, but the biggest thing to me was regret using Exhaust onto Triple as he went in, denying so much damage down. And AV just run away with the tail between their legs.
Yeah, exactly. And Triple actually using his ultimate instead onto King as opposed to himself right in the middle of that pit. Could have actually possibly worked out a little bit differently, but
I think the major thing to me is, like, yes, he could have ulted himself. I think the biggest thing about ulting himself is that he wouldn't have got exhausted as well.
Yeah, possibly.
I think that it's a lot harder to lock down Triple in that case, and he had his flash available, but yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of merit to saying he should have ulted himself. Still had them all locked in a pit together, though, so even if you ult King, everyone's getting damaged.
True. Well, AV losing that fight, losing the Dragon and the Baron now. Massive gold swing here as Legacy do finally take the lead. 200 is the only margin, though, as Legacy now need to move forward. Of course, 3 turrets each. Inner's yet to fall on both sides of the rift. This game's still on a knife edge.
And both junglers as well going the offensive route, to say the least.
Yeah.
Chelby, of course, has his Void Staff completed against a magic resistance stacking team. Very much evident. Abyssal Scepter, Spirit Visage, Rock Portal. So many magic resistance items. So it's a smart pickup here from Chelby. The difference is, though, if we compare both of these junglers, one builds damage, it's still effective damage reduction because the Phantom Dancer is the dueling item, whereas Void Staff is just raw damage, and he is not very survivable.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we saw Chelby actually in that last fight just getting completely obliterated at the beginning. Does want to be sitting back and poking a little bit longer than he otherwise was, but Void Staff now done for Triple. This guy does so much damage in the middle of these fights. Still didn't fall down in that last one, so nicely played by the man, and we'll see whether he can be the influence the next time around, because it's going to be ludicrous.
Grasp of the Undying is just such a ridiculous Keystone Mastery. Like, these two are just hitting each other and then grasping back all the damage they're dealing to each other.
Yeah.
Top lane is potato party right now.
Potato party. The alliteration to end all. As it's a rot portal off as well. Like, this is silly.
Rotten potato party.
Yeah, exactly. But this inner turret is going to fall down. Legacy just putting the pressure on King, tanking up the turret, not worrying about it too much, as it's been a very quiet game from your boy. See whether he can turn it around as we head towards the late game. Does have that QSS as well as the Infinity Edge, so probably not going to get exploded by the Lissandra as we move forward. Rot Portal going to be taken down, and that is the full inner ring removed with that Baron buff from Legacy. So nicely done.
Yeah, Legacy actually establishing themselves quite a sizable gold difference now. I mean, back in the right direction at the very least, as crits are a hell of a thing, aren't they, on Sivir?
Damn right they are.
That was the entire
ridiculous
minion wave with one auto attack.
And he thought about going, and he actually picked up like the one last CS with the boomerang, as opposed to having that do the wave clear for you.
Yeah, and so this is cool as well about Sivir, is you don't necessarily need to go for the last Whisper to get through Poppy. The way that Sivir works is that the rest of them have magic resistance. Destiny's just caught, never mind.
Yeah, he's going to flash out of the way. We'll see whether it's going to be enough. No, it's not. Choo-Choo's going to pick that one up. Collateral damage there for Collateral, I believe. The spear is going to come down. They're looking for Reindeer as well. Does hit the anchor on the walls. He throws out the ult. Not going to get stunned. There it is. Carbon's going to get hit by a spear. You can see the Nautilus actually soaking a lot. In goes Triple. Gets ulted out immediately. Nice game of tennis. They're out of the Poppy as the spear's continuing to flood through. One pick onto the support out of Legacy, but they can't push through
any further.
No, they can't actually. I think they can continue the siege. They need to be careful though. Choose needs to regenerate some mana with that blue buff before they get over-aggressive. I think the big thing to me is that there are no ultimates on anybody except the Alistar. This is risky, but doable.
Teleport's going to come in. Triple immediately destroyed whilst he's in the air. The shutdown goes to Carbon. They're focusing on the turret, but you can see the damage out of this Sivir is massive. Stark now with the black shield trying to get the work done. Shelby, no, one more auto attack would have done it there from Choo Choo's, but it's not quite enough. That big one, that hurt him. As Stark still with the majority of his health bar for now. We'll see whether he can clear out these minion waves and save this turret. In goes another massive flash pulverize as Regret's able to get the work done. You can see Sivir picks up King on the back end as Tally trying to tank up this damage. They lose the turret. Legacy, some low health bars now though, as AV as well. They just have to try and deal with it. Carbon, yeah, able to get the work done, but there's the anchor in. Stark, he's going to lock down the kill as Tally now channels the ultimate. Not going to find the Sivir. The inhibitor's still up now as Reindeer tanking like a beast. Tally's going to lock him down. These fights are so close with that Sivir alive, but still, they're able to get the turret, and Legacy are just going to say, this is enough.
Absolutely chaotic is the best way to describe these team fights right now. Legacy, though, they have control of mid, they have control of top, and they are sieging the bottom lane. So they break turrets.
Triple. Flashes forward, gets the shutdown onto Choose.
Wow.
Able to get Regret at the same time. Tally might be in trouble as Triple is a beast. Misses the last Q, but there's the Claw of Doom. Can he actually get the Circle of Frost? Gets the slowdown, another Q. And there it is, the shutdown and a triple for Triple Cheese.
Triple Cheese just styles on Legacy. That was
and
greedy.
Fourth Dragon.
Yeah, that was very greedy from Legacy to take away the Dragon once more. 8, 1, and 3 is this Lissandra right now after that triple kill. The best part about this is Regret headbutts him to safety from Tally's damage after, and then still walks into the damage of Lissandra's ultimate. So mistakes across the board here.
He had nowhere else to go, though, to his credit.
I mean, you run upwards, you try not to die to the Lissandra as best you can.
That's what he did.
But so well done from Triple, I will say. To get the ult off as well and to choose target selection, very big deal.
Understandable. Well, Stark now has himself the Bloodthirster. Another needlessly large rod here for Triple, as it's going to be the final item that the Zhonya's Hourglass is going to come in. Now being built up by Chelby at the same time, so still needs about 1,000 gold for that one for the Nidalee to keep him alive in these team fights. And AV, with that play from Triple, have now turned this into a dragon race, honestly, because if they manage to get that 5th, the team fights are going to be much more in favor of this avant-garde roster who have been showing that they can team fight in the later stages.
So that's the thing, right? The clock's ticking on the Dragon. AV definitely in contention to snowball the game through that objective. In saying that, Baron rather is life. Legacy, they're going to put more emphasis on that.
Oh, King's in the bottom lane too.
Yes, so I was about to say, like, King has made a big mistake by being down there because Reindeer has teleport. AV, they could find their way in.
Well, there's the ultimate pop tier from Stark, but I don't think they're going to be able to close the gap onto Tally. Dark Binding isn't going to find it. Is AV now going to peel back? Yeah, Tally just going to walk towards the Baron pit, and AV are going to scatter. They're just going to say, Reindeer, just take that turret, mate. That'd be great.
Yeah.
He's going to do so.
AV, they're working around the split push now. It's very handy to do. Tally needs to recall, but he's not going to be there in time, as that's one turret on the board for AV for free. And they close that gold lead a little bit further. Not that it means a lot now, because everyone's nearing their max items.
I love that you can see the sun turrets now as well on the minimap. Look at that, guys. There's a blue turret on the red side of the map. It's just a beautiful thing.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Kudos.
I was having a look on the minimap. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah, there it is.
See it.
Now it's gone. A fleeting excitement
Oh
as
my
Chelby
God.
might be caught out here. There's the headbutt pole, and they grab the jungler for free. Legacy, fantastic play. They might be able to grab a Baron because that's the jungler.
If ever
Ain't no smite.
Jesus, if ever there was a time to crit on every auto attack, King, that was it.
Better play
Regret
script more.
on this Alistar is carrying Legacy right now, at least the bottom lane aspect of Legacy.
Oh, they are just going to bait this for days. Legacy finally started off the Baron. Stark going to throw
Carbon's
a boomerang through. Yeah, AV trying to create a position for themselves. The Poppy going to teleport in as well. We'll see whether Triple can get the work done. Of course, does have the claw, makes it into the back line. Huge damage, but the shutdown comes through. Choose actually able to get out of that one with the cleanse. Really nicely done, and Stark
Now with the shield on top of him, trying to kite. It's not quite enough though as Tally, he is going to fall Stark. Able to get the work done. Reindeer now trying to get out, and Stark just says, all right, I'm out of here. The anchor comes through. Reindeer's going to survive, but it's a 1 for 3. And Legacy will go back to the Baron.
Legacy straight back to the Baron. Tally is the only casualty on this Legacy roster right now. That should be the Baron. Find it very difficult to see a way for AV into this. In saying that, Shelby is alive and running at a very fast pace. I don't think he'll get there based on the amount of damage they're doing.
Oh my god.
A lot of damage.
You put an Azir in a Baron pit, man. It does the work for you as Carbon is able to lock that one down with the smite as well. You can see AV still with the kill lead, but definitely not the gold lead, as it's now 6,000 in the lead for this Avant-Garde's roster. I don't know about you guys at home, but I was not expecting this series to be this damn close, despite my prediction, which was honestly a little bit optimistic.
Yeah, this is definitely still a very tense game. 1 minute 45 is the timer on that Dragon. Number 5 for AV, potentially. Always needs to be considered. Legacy could force issues around their Baron if they don't actually find a way into AV's base. They may just use their resources towards taking the Dragon with that Baron buff. Just control minion waves. Play it safe, play it smart. It's not too bad of a strategy. My biggest concern, honestly, right now with AV's roster is that Triple Cheese has, I'm going to say, pretty poor item selection.
Yeah, not getting that Zhonya's, instead going for the Rabadons was slightly greedy, I'll agree with you.
It's definitely greedy. And, like, he was 3-0. Makes a lot of sense, right? But he's gone for the Abyssal Scepter first. He's gone for the Death Cap. He needed a Void Staff. And, of course, you always want the Morellos for the cooldown reduction. But at what point do you actually make a decision to sacrifice a bit of damage from that lead and have the utility there to keep you alive? Because Choose is in the backline and Triple's engaging on him. He can sit back and utilize that.
Triple's actually teleporting into the flank there as Carbon takes a lot of damage. Spear isn't going to find the mark as Stark is trying to move forward. Triple now looking for his engagement as King is going to use the QSS. Triple once again going to fall down. Massive damage now not available for AV as Destiny tries to land the bindings but can't. Reindeer is going to fall as Choo-Choo's picks that one up. Stark is still alive, but not for long as the shutdown comes in. This could be game now as AV only have their support player alive. Legacy, fantastic orchestration of a team fight. They'll take down the inhib, and this actually just honestly could be the Nexus falling.
Choose is going off on this Azir right now, showing how it's done. Baron buff, minions crashing. This should be the game. Legacy in game 1.
Yeah, Nexus turrets are going to be falling. The first one now going to go down. Still massive death timers over the side of AV as Destiny has to look on in horror as his Nexus is getting torn apart. His home, the place where he wants to be, as Regrets just thrown out flashes. Really nicely played as Choose just skirts around it. Really nice skating out of this Azir on the sand. And whoa, Legacy, they were behind most of that game. But those last 2 fights were so beautiful. That pick onto Chelby, fantastic. Probably Chelby's positioning not so great, but Legacy keeping cool heads in the late game.
Yeah, I think the biggest concern to me, AV, they've got a star-studded roster, that's safe to say, but when it came down to the team fights, when it came down to the big decisions, it just wasn't all there. And Legacy, they team fought better.
They certainly did, but we are going to throw it back to the desk to break down that game.
Thank you so much, Atlas. What a performance late game out of Legacy. But let's break down exactly how that eventuated, because I feel like Avant-Garde had a lot of initiative in that game, and then they just kind of squandered it all with some bad late-game teamfight execution.
I think in general, like, we had a pretty interesting start to the game. So I know you'll probably mention it in a second, but we did have a lane swap to start things off. And I feel like both teams, they played the lane swap portion okay. Again, I'm sure Fruscurin has more detail for you in a second. But we kind of, had a slower start to the game. That's pretty typical of a game where you have 2 outer turrets fall in 2 different lanes. You open up nice long lanes. You've got lots of different things to farm around. And it just felt like we kind of hit a mid-game where nobody knew what they wanted to do. Avant took a few dragons with the power of Nidalee. And we ended up in an interesting spot in the mid-game, I'll say, because people kind of wanted to fight, but I felt like they didn't know how to actually get the fight train rolling.
It's people want to fight, but people have no idea where to fight. And that's the primary problem. Legacy as a team, and Avant, it's funny, we were watching this game, I was like, these are the exact same teams. They have the exact same mentality, the exact same agenda. All they want to do is they want to fight you, they want to kill you, and they want to take an objective on top of that. The problem is not understanding where to engineer the proper fights, which means that if you take a poor fight, so you have to think about this. Engineering a proper fight means you're engineering a fight near something that you want to take, as opposed, how to even phrase this? Legacy in their fight that they really lost control of the game, it was in that choke point.
I can
Rusty
give the
commented on
perfect
it.
example, right? So Legacy, they go towards the Dragon Pit. Avant go there and they're like, we want to fight. And then Legacy, off the back of that, take an objective in the Baron. If that was a team that we would compliment on where they actually want to fight, at that point in the game, the Dragon wasn't the objective. The Baron was. Legacy would have gone to Baron, set up 3 pink wards in the jungle, seen the approach, baited out the Baron, started up because they had a really huge tank in Poppy. And then as soon as Avant came, they would have smashed them in a team fight. What they did instead was fight across the other side of the map, had to run over there. It was a good call in the end, don't get me wrong. Legacy team fought. Choo-Choo's flew over that wall and absolutely styled on people. Like, that was a huge play. But what we're trying to say is that they're not setting up around the objective that they're actually looking to take. And we saw it a couple of times. The fight in Blue Buff, where they thought that they could get a weird pick, but they didn't have successful vision control over. All of a sudden, Avant come out of nowhere, big Lissandra ultimate, crits going everywhere out of Sivir, just turns the fight around.
Exactly, and there's no reason to fight there. Like, the objective that you want is the dragon, and they walked and they shove Avant off of it, and then suddenly it's like, instead of just taking the free objective, we're going to try to fight them. Azir flashes in, and suddenly everyone's dead.
Yeah, and the teamfight fan was pretty obvious from Avant, and actually very effective for a lot of that game. Get triple in there with Lissandra, lock people down, CC them, create this nice big zone where people don't want to walk in, and then Stark just casually walks up to them, starts ricocheting, and people die because he was a really good champion.
But I want to look at the other side of the coin here, because late game, Legacy completely out-executed Avant-Garde, and to me it was kind of their top laner and support that just outshone their counterparts, and that time and time again regret telling making plays where Reintier and Destiny couldn't.
No, and I completely agree, but it's also just the cohesion and the unity of Legacy as a unit. They've been a team for much longer than Avant have, especially with Triple and Stark brand new to the roster, so I think it just, like, time, it's just the execution on the team fights. This is what Legacy do, their pride and practice at it, so it just shone through.
Yeah, for as sloppy as maybe some moments were for Legacy, one of their biggest strengths as a team, possibly their greatest, is that they're really good at pulling the trigger quickly, making snap decisions, and team fighting very aggressively in situations where you don't expect to. That experience and that talent shone through here, maybe a bit lacking in some points, but you can see just where the team's talent lies.
Yeah, you certainly can, and with that, Legacy were able to pick up game number 1. However, guys, game number 2 will be just around the corner. Don't go anywhere, we'll be back in 3.5.